Hall Boys podcast, where we highlight and discuss the world of independent wrestling. This week, we'll be discussing Roseland 2 from Prestige, ACH versus Mike Bailey from West Coast Pro, Terminus 2, and whatever else we get to. My name's Jake. Joining me this week is my co-host, Mitch. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm good. I've had a couple busy weeks, and this next one's not slowing down either.
Yeah, well, thankfully, you're not going to have a ton of independent wrestling to watch this week. This week it looks like it's going to be a little dry.
That might be a good thing too, with the AEW pay-per-view coming up and a busy weekend.
I forgot about that.
That's with the track meet as is. It's
That's like next week.
Yeah, next Sunday night. So,
do you have any pay-per-view rituals?
Not really. And this is going to be another hotel room pay-per-view. I'm off in Edmonton for a track meet, and I had two choices. I could drive back Sunday night, miss the pay-per-view, get home at like 1 a.m. and be up for 8, or do my 2-hour meeting at work from the hotel Monday morning and watch the pay-per-view Sunday night. So I really didn't have to make a decision there.
Right. Yeah.
It was made for me.
For this card. That card is.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? Have you already been looking at room service? Are there like nearby spots that you're going to grab some food for?
Yeah, I know the hotel we're staying at. I don't know if this is a franchise in the States or if it's just a Canadian one, but there's an Earl's like right in the lobby, like right down a.
You said Earl's? Is that like a steakhouse type deal, or?
Think of it kind of like a slightly more upscale Boston pizza kind of idea, like just general, pretty standard American Canadian food, and
sure,
but it's reasonable enough.
Like
it's shit and it's close by, so it works.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, so I'll bring the Apple TV down to try and hook that up to whatever the hotel TV is, so I don't have to watch it on the computer, and hopefully.
I was gonna say break a leg, because sometimes trying to like watch stuff. There were times where I would go on business trips before I was married, and I'd bring like my PS4, PS3, and try to hook it up to the hotel computer.
Yeah,
and that was brutal.
We had All Out, the first All Out, so 2019. Jesus, what was that, 2019 now? Holy, that feels like forever ago. The first All Out, it was my wife and I, it was our 5-year anniversary, and it was All Out weekend. So we booked ourselves in at this like spa, like mineral spa for the weekend. But the compromise was I got to bring the Apple TV, and we watched All Out together on the one night. So
there you go. So are you going to be a bed watcher, or are you going to try to sit in the chair while you do it?
Oh, I'll definitely be a bed watcher. Yeah,
I have such a hard time watching TV in a hotel bed. It's the worst. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do. We might go over to some friend's house. They got a pretty sweet setup. Maybe order some pizza or whatever. But yeah, I totally forgot that was coming up. That's like the only wrestling that I watch with other people. I feel like most indie promotions, it's just like unless I'm going somewhere to watch wrestling with another person, it's just me watching in the dark on my iPad, trying not to bug anybody.
Yeah, the IWTV app for Apple TV is pretty good. It's easy enough to navigate.
I like it.
Yeah, I can't use the High Spots app on my phone at all, though. That thing is hot garbage.
I am pretty down on the High Spots app. Besides PWG and maybe like some shoot conversations that I would have like on in the background, there's really nothing on there that like, because they don't have anyone like current running, do they?
I think it might be a 1-month delay, but they do get the Warrior Wrestling shows on there, but they come at enough of a delay that it's not really feasible if you're going to watch it.
Look at PWG. They're 6 months out. So
hey, when we can be happy about that, that is an improvement. We're rolling in it with only 6 months.
I got the Twitter notification that they put out the previews for Bola, and I was like, oh, cool. So I'll get the Blu-rays, I don't know, next month? Who knows?
Yeah. I've never really paid attention. What's the timeline on the digital downloads off High Spot compared to the Blu-rays?
I've never done digital download. I would guess it would be the same time that it comes out, like physical, but
so that'd be the way to go for me rather than trying to ship it up to Canada.
Yeah, California to Canada might be a little rough.
Yeah.
All right. So, without any further ado, what do you want to do first? You want to do Prestige, Terminus, West Coast Pro?
Why don't we kick off this Mike Bailey and ACH match from West Coast? get that
Yeah.
one out of the way. 'Cause that was
Nothing against the rest of the performers on that show, but this was far and away the best match on that card. I like the venue that they were in, that like Mexican restaurant looking place. That was a cool little, definitely felt like an indie show. Trying to think larger thoughts. This was the one that Veda Scott did commentary for, right?
Yeah.
Like she did this and then flew out for Warrior. Yeah, I like this a lot. And I don't think that this is getting a lot of shine on the IWTV app. This might be one of my favorite indie matches I've seen in a while. I'm not normally a big Mike Bailey guy, but I'm a huge ACH guy. Every time I've met him in like St. Louis or Chicago, he's like a really nice dude. I'm not quite sure, what's going on in his journey, in his career at this point, but he's doing a lot of really fun indie stuff. And I definitely want to see more. So yeah, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, the match was by far and away the best match on the show. I mean, there were some other good matches on the card, and I enjoyed the show overall. But this match felt also
special.
like a statement that Mike Bailey was really back and here to stay too. It wasn't. He's not a novelty act. He's legit, and we're going to see a lot of him now that he can officially work in the States again after serving his 5-year ban, soft ban, whatever you want to call it.
Such a long time too. Like I really do wonder like what his trajectory was going to be if that didn't happen. Because I don't know because PWG freaking loved him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the biggest guy, but for some reason, Super Dragon pushed him to the moon. And I remember him having some good matches. I remember liking the one against Chris Hero. That might have been an Ebola. And he had some other good ones too. Oh, the first appearance of Evil Uno in PWG. That one. Yeah, but anyway, that's just off the top of my head. But
yeah,
I really wonder. You would have to think that NXT would have scooped him up, right? Like,
well, I mean, he might have got scooped up by NXT. If he wasn't scooped up by then, you have to think he would have been in the inaugural launch for AEW, considering some of the other guys they signed. Like now, it's.
I mean,
tough.
He has enough cachet to like.
It's tougher to sign him now with the roster size, but when they were just starting out and really giving everyone kind of their shot to get over, he would have been a shoo-in if he could make it to the States.
Yeah, I definitely think he would have done Ring of Honor for sure. I mean, we would probably just get into fantasy booking territory if we keep going down this rabbit hole.
Yep.
But no, like I said, this might be my favorite Mike Bailey match I've seen in a while, and that's also including the GCW shows that I watched from this weekend. He had a decent match against Blake Christian, but it was exactly what you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
But dude, this match against ACH was so awesome. I'll let you finish what you were saying before I went off on that quick side tangent.
I don't even know what line of thought I was on before, but
no, it's just
I can think about now
back
is
on
the
his
dragon screw. So
right. Oh, the flying dragon screw.
The flying dragon
spot
screw.
of the match. Spot of the match. I was literally at work thinking about that spot, and I was like, how many other people could pull that off?
Yeah.
And it's like maybe Osprey. Well, most definitely Osprey and Ibushi.
Yeah.
Like those guys are locks, but I'm like, I don't know who else could pull off that spot. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's a spot where it was Bailey. He went for like a drop kick or something like that.
Yeah, some type of a kick.
And ACH jumps, grabs his leg, and does a dragon screw midair, and it's so badass. It might be my new favorite wrestling move. Like
it looked incredible. I don't know how many people could do it like ACH did in that moment, but
he's the best.
Yeah.
Like he's an awesome veteran, and the indies need him right now. Yeah, dude, I loved it. And his frog splash in this match was perfect too, and that led to the really quick finish. Dude, yeah, I really like this match. If you're listening to this, go out of your way. You have to watch this. It's West Coast Pro, The Art of Drowning. The rest of the card was fine. There was some stuff on there that I liked. But yeah, you highly, highly recommend this match to everybody that I've been talking wrestling to. So, all right, where to now?
Well,
it's either we go to the show that was awesome, or we bury a show. And
I mean, I don't know that I'm gonna bury the show, but I do
well,
kind of want to.
spoilers, I am.
I do kind of want to go to Terminus next because
Okay.
it's fresh in my mind, and there's a lot of thoughts. So
Okay, big picture thoughts on Terminus. What do you think of the first Terminus show? And for those who don't know, Terminus, I think it's owned by
Gresham and the Emperor Baron Black.
Baron Black. That's who I was
They
thinking of.
co-own
So
it.
definitely Gresham. But
Yeah.
yeah, Baron Black's the
Gresham and Black.
They run out of Georgia primarily. This is only their second show.
Mhm.
What did you think of Terminus, that first show?
I was very underwhelmed with the first show. I know they had a fair amount of difficulties. You know, half the crowd couldn't make it in from the snowstorm. They had some performers that were stranded and couldn't make it in. I think another might have been off for COVID. Like there were a lot of wrinkles thrown their way, so I didn't want to judge it too harshly. But that said, I couldn't really honestly recommend anyone go out and watch the first show outside of maybe the Lee Moriarty match. That one was pretty good.
Like that one, I was really, really disappointed just because whenever you think about, so again, those who don't know, I think what sets this one aside, not only the fact that two black wrestlers are running it, which is noteworthy to do on like a bigger independent scale, like that should turn heads, that should get people to check it out. The thing that sets it apart is the rules were so interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really went out of their way to be like, they're kind of like rules perverts, really, because it's just like 15 minutes. That's it. If it, there's like, what's the?
It's like I think a 90-second, 90-second go.
And then there's like strikes and everything, so it's very like Ring of Honor pure.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they're kind of doing their own thing. I like the rules, but spoilers, I hate the way that they use them on this show. In Terminus 2, I would like start to dig something, and then one of those finishes really pissed me off, and we'll definitely get to it. But yeah, it's a weird show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very bizarre because I don't know what their trajectory is as an independent once Ring of Honor comes back. I'm guessing Gresham's going to be doing that primarily. I'm guessing Baron Black's going to be doing that one primarily. Is Baron signed anywhere? I'm largely unfamiliar with him.
No, he did. He was one of the ones when they first moved out of Jacksonville. Cody put out a big thing on Sammy's vlog, basically pumping Baron Black and Kylan King and Fuego and giving them all like Nightmare Family jackets.
I knew he was a Cody disciple, but
yeah, Fuego was the only one that ended up getting a deal out of those three. The other two essentially got cut loose.
Which Cody to Terminus?
It would be a real good fit for him if he does not end up in Connecticut. That is a space where he would make a lot of sense to show up.
Which, quick side tangent, I think if I could advise Cody, because let's be honest, he's going to listen to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He has to.
You can't not listen to the best independent wrestling podcast out there, you know. He'd be the asshole. Mm-hmm. I would say, you know what? Go out, start your own fed. If he ran his own indie fed with like Dusty / WWE booking, there's a market for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, dude, if GCW can become like this like independent mecca, I think he has enough cachet to do that. I wouldn't do NWA or Ring of Honor, which, by the way, I would have to think that Sinclair would throw Marty money at Cody, just be like, come on. But
I mean, I would think so, but I still don't know what their return plan even is. Like, are they even going to be a real company, or are they basically just an indie? Like,
we'll see. Yeah, they might be falling into our neck of the woods for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Terminus.
Yes.
Big picture thoughts on Terminus 2. Improvement from the first show, more of the same. What did you think?
I would say, in a way, kind of both. I thought it was a big improvement on the first show. I thought I was engaged with a lot more of the matches. I thought it was a lot clearer what their vision is slowly becoming. Like, I felt this event more what Terminus was meant to be. Some of it wasn't for me, but I felt like at least I understood what the point of it was. Whereas the first show, it felt like a couple matches. The Moriarty match felt like a Terminus match, and then the rest just kind of felt out of place, and like they were trying to showcase all the rules but didn't really know how they were going to work yet. It was like, here's one of every type of finish so you know what they mean, but it doesn't make sense with the match at all. And this is just, here it is. This one, well, some of the finishes still drove me nuts for that reason. They at least they wanted it to fit with the match, and I got that part.
I think the thing that's hard is I don't really have a great sense for what their booking style is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And there definitely is a clash of styles, because this is like, by definition of like their rule set, this is a grapple heavy promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we get to that main event, it's a very weird match on paper.
Yeah.
I think that they will start to figure things out, but yeah. Did you have any notes on Invictus Cash defeating Adam Priest?
When I tried to, I didn't see it. I didn't realize it was going to be only on YouTube for the pre-show. So when I started the actual feed, I caught like the little second round,
the tail end of it.
Yeah,
I know. So I didn't go back and watch it.
I haven't gone back. I like both of those guys. That was a match I was really looking forward to. So maybe someday I will go back to it, but right now that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it was a fine match, but it's one of those things where it's just like, I watched it a couple days ago and I remember nothing from it.
Yeah.
I had to like cage match, like search who actually won. Let's get into the 4-way rules. So in the last show, Daniel Garcia wins the 4-way. And like if you're going to do a multi-man match, elimination is the way to go. 100%. That made this so much more fun.
Yeah.
You still have guys lying on the outside, and it's a little okay, I get it. But yeah, 2 guys start off, and it's basically tag rules. One of them gets eliminated, and then it's a 3-way match, all 3 guys. Daniel Garcia won the first one, and he got the stipulation is you get to choose your opponent.
Yeah. Nothing
on the second show.
Yeah.
We're 2 shows in, and that's a huge inconsistency. But that said, what did you think of this 4-way match? Chris Sabin defeating Kenny Alfonso, Leon Ruff, and Trey Lamar.
First things first, wow, was that crowd hot for Leon Ruff?
Right?
Oh my God. Like that was insane.
He was in NXT for a minute, right?
Yeah, they did some weird storyline where they had him go over somebody for like the North American title, and he got the joke run with it and then got fired. But yeah, that crowd was nuts for him. I really enjoyed this is going to be a common theme. I enjoyed about 90% of this match, and then we got to the last 2 minutes and it was, we're almost at the time limit, let's cram the finish in, and we knocked what felt like all 3 out in the matter of 2 minutes after 13 minutes of a bloodbath. So
and it felt like the crowd really wasn't happy with Sabin winning.
No, they were not happy with Sabin winning.
That felt a little weird, especially because he was like definitely a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
So that felt a little bit awkward. I mean, Chris Sabin. I'm going to say the same thing about Alex Shelley later.
Yeah,
we need more veterans on the independents. So like guys like Bailey, ACH, Chris Sabin here.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I want to see more of those guys on more shows like this. It just creates more stability. It was a good match.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it was a little crammed in there.
Yeah.
I think this match style is going to catch on, not just here, but in other independents.
Yeah.
I think elimination multi-man matches would be dope. Like, especially if you have a bunch of high flyers. Imagine like a 6-person high flyer match and there's elimination rules and there's actually a prize. Like, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
That sounds a ton of fun. Queen Aminata defeated Killer Kate. It was a short match that gave both women enough time to show the crowd what they have. I wouldn't really say a ton from this. I think I really liked Killer Kate. I haven't really seen her do too much. I think Aminata is going to be someone that will end up somewhere. I could definitely see if Ring of Honor does a women's division. I think she would fit right in with that. Maybe even Impact. I don't know. My fingers are so far off the pulse of what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, she's definitely someone that I would keep my eyes on.
Yeah, I thought I was very aware that I was going to struggle calling her anything but Killer Kate. I can't do it. I know what it's supposed to sound like. I can read the words. I'll spell it out. I'll type it. we may see a ton of her matches, and I don't know if I'll ever bring it to myself to say her name properly. So Killer Kate and Queen Aminata it was a good match. We've seen Queen Aminata a little bit on Dark in Jacksonville, and it's typically the squash ones where I don't really get to see if she can wrestle or not. She's just there to take a few bumps. Yeah, exactly. This was kind of the first time I felt like I got to see her wrestle and what she was about. And yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like, I'm not going to run around and say she's the next Serena Deeb or Candice LeRae or anything like that, but she was a solid wrestler. I would like to see more of her. I thought they fit the style of the show, and this was, I think, the only match on the whole night that I can say I was satisfied with the time of the finish, because it felt like a match finishing and not a rushed finish because of the rules.
And I like the time of the match itself. Like I said,
absolutely. That was a great amount of time.
7 minutes. Yeah. Like it gave you enough time. Like there's
we went
go ahead.
We went past the token 4-minute women's match. So it was a real match, but it wasn't so long that we got beyond their comfort zone where things started to fall apart. It was good for both of them to grow off of.
Yeah, it finished in just under 8 minutes. Like I said, I like this. I don't remember too much from it. It's one of those things where it's just like early on the show. I did like what I saw. What I didn't like, oh my God, I might go off on a tangent here.
Oh boy.
Dante Caballero and Joe Keys defeat Daniel Garcia and Kevin Blackwood. Daniel Garcia gets to pick any opponent. Why is he not in a title match? Why is he not facing a Chris Sabin, like someone with name value? Why are Garcia and Blackwood a team? Why not have both of those guys do singles matches on your show? Just like a quick 8-9 minutes in and out. You get to showcase both guys. Them as a tag team did neither one of them any favors. The two guys that they went up against were just dudes that I guess they're pushing here. I was really upset with this. This match did nothing for me. It was a huge disappointment. And that's 2 shows in a row where they book Daniel Garcia and put him in a bad spot. I'm very upset.
Yeah, the positive that I can add is I really liked the theme song they gave Dante and Joe Keys, some good old Rocky flashback music. So, I mean, as upset as I was, and as much as I think it was idiotic to have Garcia and Blackwood lose here, at least I got a good song again at the end, so I could at least hang my hat on that and wallow in my misery with some Rocky music. But beyond that, I don't understand. I mean, we know AEW guys can lose on the indies.
Yeah, but
like we know that's a thing now, but why?
But it made no sense.
Why?
Like I don't, man, I don't know. Like I said, this really upset me because I look at this card in hindsight and I'm like, who are you guys getting over besides yourselves? Like, you could say maybe the 2 women from the first women's match.
Yeah.
But it's just like everyone else is talent that's already has a name or is signed elsewhere. Like any of the homegrown talent that you're trying to get over in the Atlanta area, like they weren't really given any favors on the show at all. Major problems with the booking. I don't know if Terminus 3 is announced, but like I said, like I think my expectations are pretty low from here on out. If something good happens, that'll be it. But like, how do you mess up Garcia and Blackwood? Why not do Garcia and Blackwood on this show in a grapple heavy match?
Did this count as Garcia's choice for his match then, or does he still have that?
I will throw an even bigger tangent if this counts as his match, because that makes Garcia look like a total idiot.
But if this isn't his match, do you even want to come back after this? Like, you can go anywhere. You are one of the biggest young stars in the game right now. Do you even want to bother coming back?
Like, what? It's very frustrating, because imagine if we got Gresham versus Garcia on this show. Like I said, very frustrating. I just look at this and it's just like, I remember nothing from the match besides I'm just like, well, it really felt like they didn't give Garcia or Blackwood really any favors.
No.
It's just very upsetting. So going into the next match, which was Serena Deeb working over Liza Hall for 15 minutes. And then it went to a draw. And then in 25 seconds, Serena Deeb just beats her. like, like I.
This was a weird take on the rookie challenge.
It's weird. Like Deeb's a great wrestler. Like I don't think there's anyone at this point who can really like say that she's not.
Yeah.
If you've watched her at all in Jacksonville, you realize that she is really good. Probably one of the best female wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Which I had no clue. I don't want to say written her off, but I was just unaware of what she's been doing, since she grew her hair back from
Well,
the Connecticut.
they just let her rot there as a coach and wouldn't let her wrestle. So
I don't know. I have nothing on this match.
I don't understand it. I like
15 minutes and it was whatever.
I like Serena Deeb. I mean, she beat the crap out of her for 15 minutes, but like it didn't even feel like she was playing with her food. It just felt like a weirdly long match.
It went way too long, especially whenever she just like turned on the Jets and beat her in 25 seconds. Like it really defeated the purpose of even going 15 minutes, especially when you have another match that hits the 15-minute mark later, and that one ends anyway.
Yeah,
it was a weird choice for this match. I guess they stretched out time, gave Deeb some shine. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's okay. Moving on.
Let's get into a match that really upset me, dude. Like I said, the more I look at this, the more upset I get. Shane Strickland defeats Davey Richards via countout after 13 minutes. I'm going to let you say some positive stuff before I go off. Or you can go off too.
This is where the show got difficult for me for a reason even totally unrelated. I don't know if everyone's feed was like this or it was just mine, but at about the 5-minute mark in this match, my audio got backed up by about a minute and a half. So my audio was delayed a minute and a half to the video, and it stayed like that for the rest of the show, no matter how many times I tried restarting, anything I tried. So I really struggled for the rest of the show from this match out because the audio was so far off. It's weird when you hear a bump and theme music when the wrong guy's out, or you hear 2 counts a minute later. It's tough.
I just realized I call him Shane Strickland. Swerve gets the win. How good is it to have Swerve back?
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's temporary.
He put out a tweet. I think it might be time to retire Ain't Nobody, which, spoiler alert, I wonder what that means, because it doesn't mean he doesn't like the song anymore. But
he's probably going to retire to Florida. It's all good. Yeah, it's awesome to have him back. Davey Richards is another one of those guys. Awesome to have him back on the Indies. It's so good to have him back. He spent 3-4 years not wrestling.
Yeah, I think they said 2017 or 2018 was when he disappeared for a while.
And plus he's running a school in my neck of the woods. And so these St. Louis promotion, I think is it Glory Pro Wrestling is the one that run, or is it Anarchy? Glory Pro is something else. Anyway, there's all kinds of little places. I cannot wait to see Davey Disciples on the independent scene here, just kicking people's chests in. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot better than Elgin's school. It didn't really do a ton. Which, by the way, quick side story. So I went to an ROH show. The main event was the Bucks against Alex Shelley and ACH. So much fun. Elgin is walking around in the hallway, and he walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about wrestling before? You've got good size. You're big." I'm like, "Oh, no." He's like, "Well, if you ever do, here's info on my school." And I was like, "Damn, maybe I should just stop into it too." Literally goes up to the next guy and is like, "Hey, have you ever thought about?" Man, screw this guy. I thought he saw something in me. And then
he did a paycheck.
I'm a money mark. What can I say? But yeah, anyway, I cannot wait to see what Davey's school turns out to be. Whenever he's fully committed to wrestling, it's perfect. I'm sure he's had opportunities to go work for bigger places. I know he did a couple spots for Impact, I think. But yeah, having him back is so good. And that's really where the nice things I have to say stop. This match, it really kind of meandered for 13 minutes, and it ended via countout. It's cool that there's like this danger that you have to get back into the ring by 5 count. That's significantly shorter than like New Japan's 20,
which is still faster than a Connecticut 10.
Very much so. But yeah, to end via countout for this match.
Yes.
To end via countout, I'm like, dude, I get that you might have to do a screwy finish to protect both Davey and Swerve, but I mean, I guess that Davey would be fine getting pinned. So like weird booking. Even if you get in that spot, like countouts hard. Have Davey just be badass and just close fist punch him a bunch of times, and the ref has to call off the match. Something, but like at the end of this match just really killed the entire show for me. It was after this I'm like, they're gonna have to do a ton to win me back, and they didn't. Not even close. Any thoughts on the match itself? I feel like I'm a grumpy old man whenever I got done watching the show. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, like I said, these next 3 matches were just so tough because of the audio. I don't actually mind a 5 count out. I get the idea. You want to force it to
I like
stay in the ring, and I like even showing that it happens because you can see the urgency. Like you don't have time to catch your breath. If you slip up and forget, you're screwed.
But you don't do it.
Why did you do it on these 2? Honestly, you could have done it in the next match.
Yes.
Like
absolutely. Or have the next match be Swerve and Davey and have them go the distance. Yeah. Yep. Good for both guys getting a paycheck. Yep. I think Davey was a last minute fill-in too, I think.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be Leo Rush, but he hurt collarbone, maybe something like that.
Shoulder. His shoulder. But dude, that's another dude. I hope Leo Rush gets his stuff figured out. I don't want him to end up being like low key, where it's just like he's burned a bunch of bridges. He is wrestling, he's not wrestling. Yeah, I hope he heals up, and because he's fun on the indies. So let's thoughts and prayers out for Blackheart. Hope he comes back soon.
If he is gonna low key it, can he at least do the Hitman suit? Because goddamn, did that make me laugh.
I'll tell you, having seen it in person in AAW up in Chicago, it's kind of cool the first time you see it. Like,
freaking cool, yeah.
He makes the entrance, and you're like, oh, like Hitman.
Oh, one of my favorite games of all time, too.
And then you see it again, and you're like, oh, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And then you kind of start to see that, like, the shoes aren't the same color as the pants, and the pants aren't the same color as the shirt. And you're like, oh, this is really indie. And then, the bloom came off the rose really quick with that.
Low-key's pretty indie.
Oh, man. So, yeah, next up, we've got Jay Lethal defeating Baron Black. Another match that went 15 minutes and a 36-second overtime. I like the overtime. It's similar to the 5-second countout, where it really does feel like there's danger in like it adds an element of like, oh, we got to get this done. But dude, to just go for 15 minutes and then end in 30 seconds, like there has to be a better way to like pace this out, because it really did feel like they were stretching for a time limit draw, which is fine in 15 minutes. I would much rather have that than like 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I don't know.
This didn't
really do anything.
This was the TV finish where you realize you screwed up and you have 30 seconds left and the ref is screaming, go home, go home, go home, go home. Like, you're out of time. You got to go now. Like,
and it didn't feel special where it's like, oh, we're in overtime. It was just like, we got to get this done.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like both guys were like, I have to do my best. It just felt like.
Yeah. And like.
At that point, Jay Lethal just took over and destroyed Baron Black. So.
I can see the overtime idea working well if you set the matchup, right? Like if somebody's like getting near falls for the last couple minutes, the other guy's on death's door, and you just like those matches where it's like, I need like 10 more seconds because I had it locked in and the bell rang. Like that's the purpose of it, not we're going to wait 15 minutes and then go.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think that there's something here in Terminus. I really, really do. but it's just like between like technical issues and even just booking of the show, this is rough, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I really want them to succeed. I hope Terminus 3 is a match of the year candidate, because if Atlanta has a super indie in the same way that the West Coast has a couple and Chicago's got one, and then there's some on the East Coast, like, we all benefit from that. And moving on to the main event, Jonathan Gresham defeated Santana in one of the weirdest main event matches. Like, this was worst case scenario, right? But I mean, besides someone getting seriously hurt.
I can only begin to explain how weird it was trying to sort out what the hell happened when your audio is a minute and a half behind. Like, if you thought it was a puzzle when the audio is proper, when you have to just watch and try and figure out what the hell is going on, that is a new level of difficulty. Like, it took me a while to figure out what actually happened.
Well, and then, okay, so I talked about it a little bit earlier. Let's just talk about this matchup on paper. And they addressed it in the match itself, which was maybe my favorite part of the match. Was it's like, okay, this is a grapple heavy promotion where you can't do like closed fist punches. And Santana, who is a brawler, is challenging Jonathan Gresham in a classic ROH rules match. It really just felt like a cat playing with his food, and it didn't really do Santana any favors, just on paper. But before we even get to the finish, I don't think it really does Santana any favors. I like him as a singles guy. It's cool that he's getting some run. He did Warrior against Bailey, which was another weird matchup on paper, but significantly better than this. I want to see more. I want to see Santana continue to but he feels like one of those guys. He feels like he should get a run in GCW as like the big singles guy.
Yeah, you know where I want to see him do a match? Bloodsport.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give me Santana at Bloodsport.
Well, that's a lot better than John Morrison in Bloodsport. That's weird as hell.
Is he John Morrison there? Is he John Blood? Like, what's
Johnny Bloodsport? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I really like Mike Santana. And I really, really, really wanted to love this match.
It kind of sucked.
Dude, it really sucked.
I love Santana. I don't have a better way to say it. This match stunk.
If I'm him, I'm not coming back.
Never. No.
I'm not.
Not even answering
the payday. The payday can't be good enough unless like I'm winning the ROH championship or something like that. Like, dude, this was rough. And it's like I said, it's not a knock on him at all. I really want the world for him, but like it doesn't make sense for him in a grapple heavy promotion unless he's really going to go out there and do his best Zack Sabre impression. Like, yeah, and then so we'll get to the finish. My wife could tell I was in a bad mood after I watched this, and she was like, "So how was the show?" And I was like, "Can I tell you about the main event real quick?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "So." This is a very rules heavy show, and if there's a draw, they go into a 90-second overtime. It's very rules heavy. In this match, the referee messed up the finish twice, or did he mess up the finish? That was weird. That was really, really weird. If Gresham booked it this way, no more Terminus 3. You're cut off. You're not allowed to book shows. You're not allowed. Because apparently in the Terminus rulebook, if the referee messes up the decision twice, both competitors get to pick a fan from the crowd to play a best 2 out of 3 game of rock, paper, scissors, where if one person wins, the referee's fired. If the other person wins, there's a rematch. So one person wins, and so that's one strike against the referee. And then Gresham just hand waves it and says, "Nah, never mind. Forget about it. Referee's fired. Let's go home." What the hell? Like I said, if this, it didn't even dawn on me until I said it out loud. If this was done on purpose, like, dude, If take the pencil away from Gresham, I have zero interest in his idea of what wrestling should be. He is the Shane McMahon of ROH booking. Like this was
That's getting a little more Vince Russo than Shane McMahon. Like that is bad.
I don't know. But yeah, like seriously, like this, and that's the end of your pay-per-view. Like people have paid money for this show.
Yeah.
And like, how many people after paying for 2 Terminus shows are going to come back for a third? I'm so bewildered by this. And like the goal of this show, like we want to be like overly positive. We're not just going to find some random indie on IWTV and just shit on it and bury a bunch of people. Like, no, like we want to highlight the positives.
There's a reason we picked this one. There were some great matches on paper. Like
on paper, yes, this was must see.
Yes.
I don't know. I might be going word of mouth for Terminus 3.
Yeah, I don't think I'll chance it without. There's too much out there to justify risking that amount of time when I miss other shows. I mean, it may not have been the show of the year, but I would have been much happier if I had watched that Black Label Pro show live at the time and just heard about this. Like,
I did like that Black Label Pro show.
It was,
and I'm not really a fan of like intergender wrestling, and that was predominantly that show.
Yeah.
So New Texas is going to have a hard time winning me over for that show. But, yeah, like, and that production quality was so much worse. And it's just like there's something there with Terminus. Like this can work. Like some version of this, it could take the Indies by storm and be a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
This wasn't the version. This is not that version that does.
And they had time to book this too. That's the frustrating part. It's not like this was like night 2 of a 2-night event and they were just like, I don't know. Let's just finish this up and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything positive to say.
No, I don't think I'll even go back to watch the finish again to try and figure out what was actually going on, because I don't think I care. Like that was.
And again, I just felt bad for Santana because I'm just like, this is his time to shine as a single star, and I don't think Gresham did him any favors in this matchup. The rules don't go in his favor. Again, he's just not a fit here, and it's a bummer.
Yeah.
On the other side of that coin, we watched an awesome show. Prestige Wrestling. I had never heard of them before, being totally honest. They run out of the Pacific Northwest. That area is such a blind spot for me because I never really got into Defy besides like free YouTube matches.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Nick Wayne versus Joey Janela, that is one of my favorite independent matches from last year. That is definitely must see. Put that on your watch list now.
Yeah. I'm hearing rumors there was another very recent Nick Wayne match at Defy that is an early indie match of the year thing, but I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But
no, and
I'm hearing good things.
It's hard life as an indie fan because their streaming service is like $17 a month.
Yeah.
And it's just like their back catalog's not that good. So yeah, who knows if I'll ever get to see it. Hopefully they put it up on YouTube.
Yeah. It's supposed to be great though.
But here I am watching freaking Terminus when I would much rather. Could you imagine if they had the gall to charge people for a streaming service?
Oh.
2 shows in. Hey, I don't know. Maybe Terminus buys the ROH library and they're the hot new service. Who knows? But anyway, so I knew nothing about Prestige going into Roseland 2. So much to my surprise, I turned the show on. The crowd is hot. I haven't heard an independent crowd this hot and like cheering for the right things since maybe like peak Progress.
Yeah, this was not the crowd trying to get themselves over and win brownie points. This was a crowd that genuinely loved wrestling and was enjoying the hell out of an awesome show.
Which, by the way, don't be an ass. Cheer the good guys. Boo the bad guys. There's 100 people in the crowd, maybe 200, 300 sometimes. Just go along with the show. Yeah, the crowd's putting themselves over, dude. That's so...
You want to boo the good guys in a big company with 10,000 person crowds. You're one of 10. Have fun. I loved the heels growing up. Jesse
Right.
Ventura was
They're the
my
best.
soulmate. Like that was the way it went. But there's 300 people. You got to help them out a bit.
Right. But anyway, the crowd was super hot. The venue was pretty cool. I like their setup. Production quality was great.
Very good. Yeah.
These guys really did their work going into this show to make it a must see. And
it is
we
a must
mean
see. Like
this is must see. Like top to bottom, there's some stuff in there that like was fine.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to think about again, but it's a damn good indie show. And there are hundreds of independents that wish they could do what Prestige did in one night. And as we're recording this, they're doing the next show. I am dying to watch that too. We'll find out pretty quickly if that's like a one, or a one-time deal with that show. But man, I want so badly for this to take off and become like the must-see indie on the West Coast. If they can eclipse PWG, which is pretty hard at this point, but who knows? Like they're teaming up with West Coast Pro.
They've got some other surprises coming in that we'll get to in the throughout this card that also give their stock a big boost.
So let's get into it. Ethan HD defeats Nick Wayne. I would say Nick Wayne is the top prospect from the Pacific Northwest. He just signed with Jacksonville, but he's 16.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Khan's going to be putting him on TV regularly for another like year and a half or 2 years whenever he turns 18. So I expect him to go on a big indie run here. I mean, he's already working like double shots everywhere. If I were to describe him for people who haven't seen him, I would say like a combination, and this is like a crazy combination, but I think it's true. I think it's Ospreay and Darby. It's Will Ospreay and Darby Allin as a hybrid combination, and he's one of those guys where he's just 16, and he's really, really good. He sells well. He definitely sells better than Ospreay did at that age.
Yes,
for sure. And he has a similar moveset and body type to Darby, but he's taller. He's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. And then Ethan HD wears black gloves. What'd you think of the match?
I really enjoyed it. I was surprised. They've got to have something planned for Ethan HD. I mean, I know Nick Wayne's 16, but he is the hot thing right now. So anytime he's picking up a loss like this, it has to mean something.
And he just signed the contract too.
Yes.
Like it's a big deal whenever like someone works for a Fed and then comes in and loses.
Yeah.
Like I get it. He's 16, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. This might have been like the first match even after he signed.
It might have been. I forget what show it was that Darby brought out the contract for him, but it was.
I think it was Defy, then this, and then he went to GCW the next day.
Yeah, and I think it was Defy that Darby brought the contract out.
Yeah,
so this was the match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ethan HD, let's go. I'll hop on the bandwagon because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of room. And he's fine. I'm not trying to like.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with them. Just.
I thought that match was super fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, Nick Wayne's a dude to keep your eye on. I think he's going to be tearing the scene up for a while. Anything else?
No.
Yeah. We'll move into the tag team title four-way. Danhausen came out and announced himself as the anonymous general manager for the night. Good goof.
He's making a lot of money to do it too. I think something like 90,000 for the night. So
yeah.
And he brought us these amazingly beautiful tag team titles that the crowd has to enjoy. So
very nice, very evil titles.
They are very nice, very evil titles. They legit look awesome. I like them.
No, they're good looking tag belts.
Curse aside, they are a good looking set of belts.
Oh yeah. So what did you think of the teams in this match? We had C4, which I'm not like super familiar with. They won. And they're your tag team champs. I was really impressed with them. I found myself cheering for them too, especially because I didn't know most of the participants in this match.
Yeah.
I found myself, I gravitated towards them. So good call by them to put the tag team titles on them. Let me see.
We had 503 Machines, who I was
that the
not
one?
familiar with at all.
Is that the one that had the collegiate wrestler in it?
Yes, I believe so.
Dude, yeah, that tag team, man. See, there's some tag teams in here that I really,
Mhm.
really, really enjoyed. Who was the other one? It was Jaden and Sauce
And
God.
Sauce God, yeah, the unnamed team of Superhero and Sauce God.
And then who was the other team?
Midnight Heat.
Yes, yeah. I want to give them a quick shout out. I liked all of these teams.
Absolutely.
They worked really well together. Like I've said earlier, I'm not really a fan of like multi-person matches. So it's like whenever you throw 4 teams in there, there's a lot of just like waiting around. I would have preferred a straightforward tag match, but this was fun. It really just like, and especially because I think it was because of the crowd. The crowd was so into this match, and I definitely think it elevated it to another level. I would say C4 is the team to keep your eye on out of this match. Is there anyone else that you really, really were drawn to?
I really liked Midnight Heat too. They impressed me as well, but C4 absolutely stole the show, and I think it's a testament to them and how well the match was laid out. That you knew a lot of people watching weren't going to be familiar with every single team in here, and they did a really good job setting up C4 to be the big go over favorites to win the match and become the fan favorite champs. And they structured the match so well that they pulled you along for that ride and got you to buy into it really quick.
And also, let's talk about the commentary real quick. 2 really like competent professional people, not trying to get themselves over.
No,
just calm the action, along for the ride. Big fan of these guys.
Yeah.
I wish I wrote down their names so I could give them a shout out, but they
have
won't hear it, so it's whatever. You know who you are.
Oh,
if you're going out of your way,
Ryan Zane and Joe Dombrowski.
Okay. Oh, Dombrowski. He should be in Chicago Fed. What's he doing up there? Yeah, super fun match. Honestly, I probably would have started the show off with this.
Yeah.
Nothing against, Mr. HD and Nick Wayne, but this match was a blast.
Yeah.
And I'm predisposed to not liking matches like this, so I was really happy with it. Anything positive to say
different.
about Funny Bone and Warhorse? Because I got nothing for you, bud.
I still like Warhorse. He is not what he was.
I won't talk you out of it.
IWTV championship run. It's not the same right now, but I'd still like to see him return to some glory. What I really wish is I could see who Funny Bone was without Funny Bone. He seems like a good worker, got a incredible physique, looks competent in the ring. I'd like to see who Funny Bone is without Funny Bone. So if I can see him in a regular match, I'd be interested. But I don't need the face ripping off.
I want to see if he can go.
It seems like he might be able to, but it's hard to tell with that attached. So
yeah, and I don't think it was Warhorse dragging him down. I think it was a gimmick heavy match. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to tell.
It's going to be what it is.
Yeah. This next match. Okay, so Alex Shelley and Dalton Castle are going to have a match, which on paper, like, that's a cool match.
Yep.
Let's go. Alex Shelley comes out to Fiddler and has Teenage Bottle Rocket logo on his tights. I'm like, dude, this is my guy. Like, yes, Alex Shelley, all the way. I had my finger up to my hand. I was like, yeah, let's go. And then Tom Lawler comes out, and the crowd is like, oh my God, we forgot you were champion. You were champ for like 700 days.
I don't know if cracked 1,000.
Was it really?
I think they said it cracked 1,000 just because they were shut down for so long.
Gosh. Well, yeah, the West Coast was shut down more
so
than most places. But yeah, dude, I don't know if it was like Bandito and PWG where it was like Lawler won the title and then didn't defend it until...
I think a lot of it was from the sounds of it. Like, I don't think he defended it for a couple of years.
Well, anyway, his epic Bruno San Martino like run. So anyway, he comes out and then learns firsthand the dangers of peer pressure by not just inserting himself into the match, but putting the title on the line. And to the surprise of everyone, Alex Shelley wins.
Fast.
Yeah. Very fast match. Yeah.
This was under 9 minutes.
Which, to be honest, I don't know how Lawler is in really gimmick-heavy matches. Dalton Castle is pure gimmick at this point. Not to throw him under the bus, but it's like his injuries have taken their toll. He's unfortunately at the spot in his career that I would think that he would be in 5-10 years from now, where it's just, he's a comedy guy. He can still do some physically impressive stuff, but I find myself cringing when he takes a big bump. Like it's kind of like Trent, where it's like he takes a hit on the neck, and I'm like, oh, it's very similar. Match itself, I really liked it. I had a feeling that it was going to go longer, but like you said, in and out in 9 minutes, new champ.
In the middle of the show.
I kind of like the impromptu world title match. Like that felt cool. It made Lawler look really dumb. But
dumber when he took his rematch clause and added a fourth person.
Another person. Which, by the way, have we figured out who that's going to be? Because they said Mike Bailey, but then
it listed.
Then it looks like Davey Richards.
I don't know if we officially know who it's going to be.
Okay.
I haven't looked to see if anything's changed though. So
yeah, it's kind of hard whenever Twitter tells you one thing and then Jeremy is over here lying to you and telling you it's Davey Richards. Anyway, he's not the smartest hero, but
no,
it is what it is. Drexel defeats Taya Valkyrie. Taya making her return to the territory. She was really over here. They had a decent plunder match. There's the spot with the roses on the door. That was a nice touch. Which, by the way, I'm over doors. Like,
are they cheaper?
I don't know.
Is it a cost thing? I don't know. Like,
you probably don't have to gig them as hard. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get our fair share whenever we do our collective weekend coming up, which I am a little bit dreading.
Just so much.
Maybe we should have started the podcast after the collective shows. But anyway, it's not Ember Moon.
Athena.
Dude, I didn't even watch her NXT run, and I'm like, yeah, it's Ember Moon.
I mean, Ember Moon's a good name for a wrestler.
It's a pretty damn good name.
Like they screw up a lot in that company, but Ember Moon is a damn good name for a wrestler.
Well, we have to fact check real quick to make sure it's not a Nazi, but Athena. Athena comes out, costs Taya the match. I expect the match out of it too soon. Any thoughts on the match itself?
Yeah, I popped hard for Drexel doing the Frankie Monet skit just because I had very little sympathy for Taya.
Pretty creative burn. Yeah,
it was. I had very little sympathy for, at 37, 38, you know what you're in for if you sign with that company. You know the risk. You know what could happen. So when it does, it's hard for me to buy the woe is me gig. Dumb, impressionable 18-year-old gets burned. I get it. You know better by now.
Yeah, but to be fair, these are people who take big hits to the brainstem. So it's like, maybe thinking that this is going to be the end of your career. I think I could be talked into it too. From what I hear.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Uncle Paul is a great convincer.
Yeah, I don't blame her for taking the contract at all. You have to be prepared.
You have
to know that you could get fired at any second, and you're accepting that risk. So don't play the pity card when the risk comes true. But
right. Any thoughts on the match itself? I thought it was fine for a plunder match.
Yeah, it was there. It wasn't bad. Like, it was a fine match. I wasn't watching it thinking this isn't good. It was an average quality plunder match.
I think the problem that I have, and the reason that we're not talking about GCW this week, or most weeks, to be honest, moving forward, I have a really hard time with plunder matches because the floor and the ceiling are so close to each other that whenever there's a really good plunder match, it's like, yes, it was good. And if it's a really bad plunder match, it's like,
Yeah.
there were doors. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. Moving on, we go to another four-way match. Sonico defeated Jaden, Calvin Tankman, and Titus Alexander. It was a match basically to spotlight Tankman as a hoss.
It was the
and
tank
establish
show.
him right. Establish him as like a big dude in the territory. I liked him a lot. I haven't seen a ton of him before. Big fan. I also like Jaden's superhero gimmick, which in like most wrestlers in most territories, I hate the superhero gimmick. And I'm a big Hurricane Helms guy. That might lose me some credibility. Shane's my dude. And I thought the Hurricane gimmick was hilarious when I was a kid. So for Jaden's superhero gimmick to come across big for me was kind of a surprise. But it's not hokey. It's literally just like he's basically a luchador.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing he's making fun of who's the superhero dude? Like the real crime fighter guy up in Seattle. I'm sure he just still doesn't do it. But like a decade ago, there was this dude who dressed up like a superhero and went around and fought crime.
You're making this up.
I swear I'm not making this up. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. There was this young kid who was basically like, I'm going to take justice into my own hands. And he didn't get shot and killed. That I know of.
You live in a strange ass country.
Hey, man. Yeah, we might be neighbors sooner rather than later. So anyway, big fan of Jaden. He came across really well. He pulled double duty, and there was a double turn.
Poor
His
guy.
tag partner earlier in the night. It
was like kicking a puppy.
I know. Sauce God came out and turned on him for some reason. But honestly, Alex Zane versus Jaden, I knew nothing about their history coming into the show. In the span of 2 matches, or basically one match and
a spot. Yeah.
After I am invested.
Absolutely.
They're going to be able to draw with Jaden and Alex Zane, and most territories can't pull that off.
No, and can we please get Alex Zane to start entering to some actual Kid Rock music? It's time. I need some 2000s American badass Alex Zane coming out because he is right now. He is Kid Rock.
Yeah,
it
for
needs
sure.
to happen.
For sure. I'm definitely expecting him to cosplay for the collective weekend. For sure. You kind of have to. Yeah, I like this match a lot. Like I said, I was really impressed by Tankman. He's one of those guys that I think, as you know, if his career keeps moving at this pace, he's a real dude to keep your eye on. I was really impressed with him.
He's got to get out of Corp Hourland.
Basically, yeah, MLW is like Lucha Underground in more than one way. It sucks because it's like, and I think Court he's definitely a carny through and through. He overpromises, under-delivers. But I don't know if I would put him on the Gabe level, but it's like he definitely has a mind for wrestling. But it's just like, man, MLW feels like wrestling purgatory, and it's just one of those things I can't get into it week in, week out. But yeah, I mean, I might have to because there are some dudes on that roster that I really
they've got some cool guys in there. I like Holiday and Hammerstone a lot.
I might check them out once they stop doing the spooky Lucha Underground stuff. But yeah, Tankman was awesome. Jaden has a fan. 2 fans, I'm going to assume. Big fan of Jaden on this show. That takes us to Pax Americana defeats Bussy. Don't Google that. Plunderific intergender match was fine. I have nothing to say. Like I said, plunder matches, the floor and ceiling are so similar. You add in intergender on that level, and it's just like, I really only think there's so far you can go. And why do we have multiple plunder matches on this show? I think having one just, literally 2 matches before this really took the steam out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to also point out Danhausen explained it very clearly. It's about speed. It's about the movies. It's There's nothing else going on there. Just we know that. But the thing about the match that kind of drives me nuts is Alley Catch has been really going out of her way to expand beyond the Alley Cat gimmick, become Alley
This
Catch,
is so much better than Alley
be
Cat.
taking more seriously, and she's grown so much as a wrestler. I think Dark Sheik is super underrated as a wrestler. They don't need this type of match right now. They can be searching for better opportunities to grow and put on better wrestling matches. I think this was on, and it again, nothing wrong with the match. It was a fine match, but those two are capable of more, and they deserve to be given the opportunity to try more than this base plunder match. So it was what it was.
And I also kind of got the vibe that like the crowd was just ready for the main event.
Oh yeah, understandably so.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it's a hard spot for that too, because like I said, it's the second plunder match. It's been a long show, and this match got time too.
Yeah, it was probably close to 15 minutes, I think. Like it was.
And the hard thing with plunder matches is if you don't have the timing right and you're doing like a tag or a multi-person match, it's a lot of like, now let me drag you over here.
Yeah.
Set this up, and we'll go through it.
Yeah, you're watching the set changes on the movie scene, like.
Right. It really takes you out of it. So, and that's not a knock on them. It's
no, they did their job fine. It's just
when plunder matches work, they work, and when they don't, they're plunder matches, and they're an easy write-off.
Yeah, they're still fine.
Right. It's still ice cream.
Yeah. The big one.
The big one. Yes. The whole reason we tuned into the show, the whole reason that we gave Prestige a shot is Malachi Black versus Davey Richards on paper is must see in this current indie landscape. Like, oh my gosh. Did this match live up to the hype for you?
Yeah, I'd say so. I loved it. It's hard because when we first watched it, we watched at the same time we watched ACH and Mike Bailey, and that match was so blow away. But like this match is awesome. It's worth. I mean,
I was gonna say
the whole show is worth watching. But
Bailey and ACH was match of the show.
Yeah, great match. Their styles blend well to have an amazing match together, and it came through.
And it's exactly what you wanted too.
Yeah,
like it's two dudes striking each other.
Yeah.
Lots of palm strikes and kicks. Dude, it was great. Yeah, I think I'll go like 4 stars flat on it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I think at 4 4.25 maybe. It's
yeah. I feel like if I just talked about this, I would kind of like damn it with faint praise because it would just kind of like it. You have to see this.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to, the two of us talking about it isn't going to do it justice by any means. I really like Aleister Black, Tommy End, however you know him, as just a dude who goes out there to fight. All the spooky stuff, it literally does nothing for me. If he wants to do that, go to MLW. I hear they do plenty of Lucha Underground stuff. You'll fit right in. You might even be able to kill people on that show, and people will love you for it. But in a match like this, going up against Davey Richards, just be a badass, and he was.
Absolutely.
Brody showed up afterwards, and I'm guessing this sets up a tag team match between the two. We talked a little bit about it. Who would you partner with Davey to go up against the Kings of the Black Throne? Did I get that right?
I can't remember. I remember Excalibur or Justin Roberts screwing it up, and I don't remember what one the screw up was.
Let me cage match real quick. Yeah, got it in one. Kings of the Black Throne.
Count it.
I'm really into the gimmick.
I already know who your answer is because we talked about it before, and I think my answer is the same as it was last time. I want Tom Lawler in that match. I mean, I know he's got the rematch, so it doesn't make sense right now. Right. But if I can
down the road,
yeah. If we don't do this payoff at the very next show, it works because Tom's probably not winning his 4-way either. So,
but we haven't seen the show yet. But
true. But yeah, that would be my pick in a vacuum.
If it is Davey in that match and not Bailey, and then after the match, Malachi and Brody show up and start laying waste, and then Lawler helps Davey, and then they're like, uneasy alliance, let's go kick some ass. I think we just spoiled what happens in the next Prestige show. Perhaps, I like that pick a lot. That would be a lot of fun. Especially, dude, Davey and Lawler as a team is...
I would like that's a great team.
Yeah, C4 wouldn't stand a chance, I'll tell you that.
Nope. You gotta keep this feud to slow burn that one, because it will be quick and brutal.
Right, yeah. And like I said, you could definitely sell out a show with those names in the main event. Oh my gosh. That's must see. I would obviously, whenever you think tag partners for Davey, my first instinct is to go with Eddie. But honestly, after watching the show, I was kind of hoping for Calvin Tankman. Like, Tankman versus Brody King. Let's go. Let's let these dudes just tear at each other. But the more, you've won me over. I think Tom Lawler's the way to go. But yeah, just to circle back to what we said at the beginning, for Prestige to grab everyone's attention with this main event, and then also deliver with a really great card, and the crowd did them such a huge favor. Because like I said, I think this catapults them to like be the must-see indie right now. I can't think of any indies because like obviously like PWG and Warrior are like my go-tos right now.
Yeah.
Game Changer, I dip my toe in and I'm like, who are some guys I'm interested in? I might check out their stuff. If Prestige keeps this going, that's it. And it's what Terminus set out to be. So yeah, anyone listening to this, you have to watch this show. It's well worth the monthly subscription to IWTV just for this show.
Oh yeah.
By the time you listen to it, there will be another show from Prestige to watch. I love the show. I think it's early show of the year candidate as far as independent shows go. Just top to bottom. It was a ton of fun. Even the matches that didn't work, like I said, the crowd elevated it to another level. So it's like, even if it didn't work, it's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's not your guys' fault. You did your best. Let's move on and keep having fun. Such an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, this and Warrior 18 are the two easy front runners right now. Both unreal shows.
18 was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, that match, well, yeah.
They're both up there. Like, to me, they're both must-see shows.
Because Warrior 18 had Ospreay. It
was Cajun Ospreay as the main event.
But the rest of that show was really good,
That's the thing. It was a solid show, top to bottom, too.
Dude, I just saw that Warriors coming to my neck of the woods.
Ooh.
Basically backyard, and I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. Give me Ospreay and...
Maybe you get Ospreay and Nick Wayne at that one. Who knows?
Oh my gosh,
That's coming. It's coming.
Yes. Speak it into existence. I want it.
It's pretty much Twitter confirmed it's coming at some point.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, as soon as, because when Nick Wayne got screwed out of the match at Hammerstein for GCW, they're like, who do you want to face? And he put Ospreay, and Ospreay immediately responded and was just like, let's go. Let's do this. Like it, and Ospreay
on the universe, so I can go watch that in St. Louis. Oh my!
Ospreay will make it happen.
That is an insane show to do for St. Louis. Like that's how you sell out like a big arena.
I don't know if it'll be there, but it'll happen somewhere.
I mean, that's a good concert hall venue. You could draw some seats, or wait, draw some butts and seats. There we go. I'm too excited about the possibility of that match. But yeah, going back to it, Prestige is like it's top tier for me now, and that's after one show.
And they had a couple announcements in this show about some future guests as well that I am very excited about. Yeah. They
basically said like, hey, if you like Joshi, I totally skipped over that in my show notes, but you're right. They had two announcements.
Yeah, and there's a deeper story to this too. So. And I mean, I think everybody will know in a hurry. I definitely am the women's wrestling aficionado of the two of us by and large.
Yeah. You're going to be carrying a lot of that weight for sure.
So the theme this year, both of the wrestlers coming, Mayu Yamashita and Maki Ito, the cutest in the world, are both coming in May. They're both Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestlers. The big
Oh,
theme
they're
this
doing it
year.
in May. I thought that they were going to do it around WrestleMania.
No, they're, and this is part of where this story comes in. They're not coming until May. Like they're May 28th, 29th for Prestige. But the big announcement Tokyo Joshi Pro had at the beginning of the year, well, not really announcement, but their big story is they really wanted to commit to long-term excursions this year for the Joshis. So like we're talking, like they want them to come over, spend a few months touring around. So this Maki Ito and Mayu announcement feels like they might spend a few months here. It's not going to be just Prestige. I'm sure we'll see Maki Ito on TV again, and like they're going to tour around. They will be here for likely a few months, and they will not be the only ones coming over from Tokyo Joshi Pro this year on those sorts of excursions.
Mayu's a bigger deal.
Oh, absolutely. But I
Maki
mean,
Ito. Maki Ito's a gimmick, and I get why people like it, but it's like that's one of those things where you see her for what she is pretty quickly. Keep your eye on that.
Oh yeah, no, Mayu Yamashita is an incredible wrestler. She is unbelievable.
I think she's everything that people wanted Hikaru Shida to be.
Yeah.
So if she gets the chance to shine over here and like really lay in and work stiff, because for some reason a lot of Joshi here in the States do not work stiff at all, and it totally kills the aesthetic.
And there are a lot of American wrestlers willing to work stiff with them as well, which is where
but for some reason
that's where I get puzzled.
Yeah. We need to do a deep dive on that, build some connections, and figure out what the hell is going on with the women's scene, because
it's even when they wrestle each other, two Joshis in America don't work as stiff as they do in Japan. And I don't know if it's, I mean, the opposite of what people would say about like, I guess I'm supposed to call him Penta Oscuro now, but Pentagon, whatever his suffix is, phoning it in Mexico and then putting on bangers in the States. Like it's almost the opposite.
He phones it in the States too, but
sometimes.
Dude, I was blessed to see him in Phoenix in AAW like multiple times a month.
Yeah.
But dude, Phoenix is my dude. I will never say a bad thing about Phoenix ever. But there were some Pentagon matches where I'm just like, I could literally call the spots as they were about to happen, and I'm just like, okay. Especially, it was brutal whenever him and Sami Callihan were working, because Sami Callahan's the exact same kind of guy, and it's just like, Penta's gonna do the hand wave. He's gonna throw the glove. Sammy's gonna spit and slap, and yep, let's go. So yeah, don't let Penta off the hook that easy. He knows the gig. He knows the game. But yeah, I was excited about the Joshi announcements, and if I was excited about the Joshi announcements, I'm sure you were super excited about it.
Yeah, I popped pretty damn hard for both of those. And I try to watch some Tokyo Joshi Pro when I can, but I definitely follow Stardom more closely than Tokyo, so I don't see these women as much. It's much more accessible. It's really easy to follow. It's super faction based, which makes it so easy, considering up until recently almost nothing's ever had English commentary on it. A few shows have now, which is really nice, and heavy English commentary, like thick British accent English. But
who was it? Noah has someone from like Ireland or Scotland, and okay, let's go.
I don't know if it's the same guy, but you could tell me it's the same guy and I'd believe you.
Yeah, I can't remember because I only poke my head in on Noah every once in a while. Not really a fan of their booking right now. But anyway, Prestige is doing it right.
Yeah.
We took a long way to get there to keep saying the same thing. But Prestige is doing it right, and I'm really excited to see where they go from here, because this is the independent to keep your eye on.
Yeah,
for sure. So as far as what next week would look like, I guess we could do a little on-air production meeting. There's not really a ton.
No, it's a quiet week.
There's the Prestige show.
Mhm.
New Texas Pro just ran Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
By the way, can people please stop calling things Worlds Collide? It's really hard to like. There's like infamous
Mhm.
shows called World Collide. It might be time to retire that. So we've got those two shows for sure. Maybe even throw in a little Impact because they have a lot of people who work in the independent, and that show should be interesting. Who knows? But anyway, and anything else you want to add?
I want to highlight there's one match that from the Black Label Pro show. What was this recent
Totally
one
forgot
called?
about
I think it was called Mikey's Version was the name of this particular event, the recent one. But the match there were a lot of solid matches on the card. I enjoyed the show, but the match that stuck out
There
for
are some
me
bad
is
ones too. Don't let everyone off the hook.
no, absolutely. But Anthony Green and Sky Blue, to me, that match tore the house down for me. I'm a fan of both of them to begin with, but they worked so well together. They had me on the edge of my seat. I was very impressed with that match. And I think if there was one match I'm recommending out of that whole show, it's Green and Sky.
Yeah. Yeah, they did some interesting stuff. Lawler was in the main event. Man has too many titles. Well, not anymore. I like that main event. They set up one kid in the semi-main.
Yeah.
Challenger. It's good to have them back. My mileage on Black Label Pro, it's not going to be the same for everybody. I've been pretty down on them. At one point, they were a really good show. Like you could count on them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they return back to that. But yeah, no, good call bringing that up.
I'm going to say you did not love Levi Everett and Warhorse.
I'm happy that Warhorse is getting paying gigs. And if I ever bump into him, I'll give you a fist bump. But yeah, that did nothing for me. There were a couple matches on this show that didn't really do anything.
There were a few. It was weird. I thought up until the Warhorse match, I was like loving the show. I loved every match, and then it kind of fell off a cliff for a while before coming back.
I liked Layla Hirsch, Kevin Blackwood, but again, like I have a hard time with Layla Hirsch. I think there's potential there, but her right now, she just doesn't really do anything for me. There were a couple spots in the match that I really liked. Kevin Blackwood's one of those guys where it's just like he's not a finished product either.
No,
he told me some time in the oven. So it's one of those things where it's just like I get why they booked that. It was a fine match.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like I can just say kind of nice things about the show, but I think you're right in bringing that up. Sky Blue's only getting better.
Yeah, and honestly, Anthony Green kind of is too. He's impressing me more and more and more. Like he's grown beyond a gimmick.
Right. I went into this really not expecting anything. I don't know if he'll get to who's like a super worker on the indies right now, like a Tony Deppen.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what his ceiling is going to look like, but no, I liked him in this match. He was definitely better than I thought going into it. So
yeah,
cool. Yeah. So with that, thank you for listening. It's been fun to set this up and keep going. Like I said, I'm excited for what's coming, but dude, it feels like that collective weekend is like a shadow that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be possible, but the show where we break it down is going to be a ton of fun.
There is so much going on that weekend. I think one of the things I'm most excited about, though, is that Thunder Rosa got Mission Pro added to the collective weekend. The matches are going to be hit or miss because there's a lot of, young growing women that are still very much learning their craft. So you have to expect some flaws and not expect perfection out of the matches.
But set the bar low, but just
but it's a really cool idea, entirely female ran promotion, like every single person involved in it basically is female.
Which, let's be honest, Shimmer has dropped the ball with women's wrestling in the States.
Huge, exactly. So I mean, like this is coming in and filling that void, and there are going to be some good products out of this promotion that grow. It is not a finished product in terms of in-ring stuff and won't be for a long time, but you're getting in on the ground floor of what could be something very, very cool in the long run.
Yep. Good call. So yeah, with that, that's the first episode. I'm Jake, that's Mitch, and we are the Bingo Hall Boys. See ya.
See you next time.